Ladies and gentlemen, you know you're in for something special when a car looks like a baby Porsche 356 but sounds like a lawnmower chasing a bee. That's the Glas Isard 400 Coupe, Germany's attempt at building a Grand Tourer the size of your neighbor's barbecue. Not the one with the 4-burner grill, the rusty one under a tarp. And yet, this tiny machine was not a joke. It had real style, engineering ambition, and just enough power to get you to the shops and back without making the evening news. But before we dive in, smash that subscribe button like it owes you Deutsche Mark. Here on Cool Ideas, we bring you the weirdest, boldest, most eyebrow-raising machines ever to pop, sputter, or glide across pavement. And trust me, the Isard is all of that. Now let's roll back to the 1950s. When West Germany was rebuilding itself faster than Timmy goes through romantic relationships. At the center of that economic miracle stood a small firm called Hans Glas GmbH, based in Dingolfing, Bavaria. While their name might sound like a niche kitchen appliance brand today, back then they were serious players in the European microcar scene. The Glas Isard 400 Coupe began life in 1957 as part of the Goggomobil TS line. The name Goggomobil was already well known in Germany thanks to the firm's earlier scooter-based microcars, but that didn't translate so well abroad. In France, for example, gogo was unfortunately close to slang for idiot or worse, so Glas made the smart move of rebranding the export versions as the Isard 400, naming it after a nimble mountain goat found in the Pyrenees, because nothing says sporty European motoring like an alpine goat. This wasn't some half-baked fiberglass oddball, though. It had real ambitions. Glas aimed the car squarely at the young urban motorist who'd outgrown their Vespa but wasn't quite ready or able to afford a full-size sedan. With its proper fixed roof, elegant swage line and wraparound glass, the TS 400 looked and felt grown up, even if it could technically be parked in a bicycle lane. Interestingly, the TS Coupe was designed entirely in-house by Glas's engineering team. No big-name stylist attached, just smart Bavarian minds trying to package comfort, usability, and tax efficiency into something under 4 meters long. The car remained in production into the mid-1960s, with several running updates, including a door hinge switch in 1964 from suicide front hinge to rear hinged, causing endless debates among Concours judges and pedantic owners. Production totals across all TS Coupe variants 250, 300 and 400 cubic centimeters, Glas built roughly 66,500 units. Of these, around 11,975 were the 400 cubic centimeter models, though no factory-led breakdown confirms that number. Still, that's the figure quoted by most auction houses and enthusiasts, and it reflects the transition away from the smaller 250 and 300 cubic centimeter engines over time. How many survive today? Well, the answer is somewhere between a few hundred, and Bob's neighbor claims he has one under a tarp, but it's actually a washing machine. Seriously though, TS Coupes do show up at auctions and club events, but the Isard-branded export models are significantly rarer than the German market Goggomobils. If you see one with a proper Isard badge, you've stumbled upon microcar royalty. But let's not get too misty-eyed. This car is more than a cute face. Technically speaking, the Isard 400 Coupe had some wild stuff going on for its size. Its heart was a Glas-built 392 cubic centimeter two-stroke, air-cooled twin-cylinder engine. Displacement came from a 67mm bore and 56mm stroke, delivering about 18.5 PS under the German DIN standard, or roughly 20 brake horsepower in SAE terms. That might not sound like much, but the car only weighed around 400 to 460 kilograms, depending on trim. All that pep translated to a top speed of about 60 miles per hour, roughly 96 kilometers per hour, if you had a good tailwind, skipped breakfast, and didn't mind the noise. And it did make noise. Two-stroke noise, the kind that alerts squirrels, alarms pedestrians, and attracts every dog within a 3-block radius. The powertrain layout was classic microcar, engine at the rear, rear-wheel drive. But what really set the TS400 apart was its optional gearbox, a Getrag-built electro-magnetic pre-selector transmission. This wasn't some gimmick. The electric pre-selector let you choose the next gear, and an electromagnet completed the shift as you lifted off or dabbed the clutch. Underneath, the Glas engineers gave it independent suspension all around with swing axles, coil springs, and telescopic dampers. The ride was surprisingly comfortable, again for a car the size of an inflatable kayak. Drum brakes were fitted at all four corners, which were tucked behind 10 inches, steel wheels wearing narrow cross-ply tires, typically 4.8010s. Dimensionally, the car was a marvel of packaging. Wheelbase was about 1,800 millimeters, overall length 3,035 millimeters, width 1,370 millimeters, and height 1,235 millimeters. That's roughly 10 feet long, 4 feet 6 inches wide, and just over 4 feet tall. Fuel economy was predictably excellent. While official TS 400 tests are rare, its TS 300 sibling managed around 50.5 miles per imperial gallon, or about 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers in 1950s testing. The 400 was a bit thirstier, but still thriftier than Bob on discount day. And inside? Spartan, but smart. You had a 2-spoke steering wheel, a tidy dashboard, and enough headroom for adults who hadn't had their coffee yet. The seats were more comfortable than expected, and the rear area could fit luggage or possibly a very well-behaved small dog. It was everything the average European needed, especially if that European wanted to look sharp on the Riviera without paying Ferrari tax. Now, if you were shopping in the 1960s and had about 3,745 Deutsche Marks burning a hole in your corduroys, this little coupe could be yours. That base price in 1966 translated to about $936 back then, which, when adjusted for inflation, lands us somewhere around $9,200 to $9,600 in today's money. That's modern compact hatchback money for a car that could fit under a billiards table. On the collector market, things have gotten spicier. In 2013, RM Sotheby's sold a pristine Isard 400 Coupe from the Bruce Weiner Microcar Museum for a cool $42,550. Another example in 2016 fetched $24,200, both emphasizing how much condition, originality, and that elusive Isard badge matter. Unlike certain microcars that have gone six-figure silly, the Isard 400 has stayed in the reasonable but rare category, for now. So where does that leave us? With one of the most charming, sophisticated, and criminally underappreciated microcars ever built. The Glas Isard 400 Coupe, aka the Goggomobil TS 400, delivered grown-up aspirations in a half-size package. It had the looks of a grand tourer, the heart of a wasp, and the soul of a Bavarian craftsman who believed cars could be small and still full of character. Whether you admire it for its rare export badge, its curious gearbox, or its audacity to be stylish at 392 cubic centimeters, one thing's clear: this car is more than a footnote. It's a full sentence in the story of post-war European motoring, and we're lucky it survived long enough to be cherished again. A massive thanks to our glorious channel sponsors, our YouTube members who click that little join button and keep the fuel mix and the exhaust note crisp. Without you, we'd still be stuck in first gear. Now go out there, live large, and remember, if someone laughs at your tiny car, just smile and wave because you've got more charm in 10 feet of steel than they've got in their whole SUV.